going to have discussion on the current fiscal year budget, 2001 to 2022, and then next year's budget. As you know, it has been a matter just of accounting practices that we have to make amendments to the budget just to make sure that it actually chews up to what we actually spent. And so this is kind of the this is traditional course of pattern, particularly that the tax receipts have come in higher than expected, and so we have to make adjustments to that. So we will go over the 21-22 amendment so we can bring the current fiscal year 2021-2022 budget up to date, and then we'll go into discussion of the approval of the 2022-23 budget. And so I will hand it off to Dr. Battle or Mr. Henson to go over the 21-2022 budget amendment to bring this up to date.
Thank you, Ms. Player. I'm going to invite Chris Henson, Chief Financial Officer, to the podium to walk us through those budget documents.
Thank you, Ms. Player. Good afternoon, everyone. You have a copy of the agenda, and as Ms. Player said, we'll be discussing and seeking approval for the current year budget amendment number 2, and then also seeking approval of our budget for the next fiscal year, 2022-23, as voted on final approval with the Metro Council. So you have 2 budget documents in front of you. If you'll, the first one on the front, it says fiscal year 2021-2022 operating budget amendment number 2. If you would take that document first. If you turn the page to the summary, you can see what we're attempting to do here is basically reconciling and truing up our transfer to the charter school fund, which is a separate fund. And by state law, we are to transfer the total state and local revenue per pupil to our charter schools based upon our total state and local funding. This would be their pro rata share based upon enrollment of the additional revenue that we are collecting over and above, in this case, what Metro Finance projected. And so you can see on that summary page, we are requesting to increase the transfer to our charter school fund by $10,241,400. This is mainly due to the
Amber Alert, probably. There we go.
Blue alert.
Blue alert.
It's for
Elderly.
I thought that, yeah, it was silver for elderly.
Yeah, we don't know. Somebody's in trouble. We hope they could help. Continue.
And so if you noticed in your board agenda packet, we have, as we do every month, we've included our sales tax collections compared to as projected by Metro Finance. You can see through 10 months of collections, we are over $81 million over in sales tax collections over and above what Metro Finance projected. Obviously, that's about $8 million per month. We have 2 more months left of sales tax collections that will count toward the current fiscal year. So we are anticipating exceeding our sales tax collections by approximately $100 million for the year. We also are looking at exceeding property tax revenue as well as the alcohol beverage tax revenue that we receive. So taking all of those things into consideration, what we're requesting here is to increase the transfer to our charter school fund based upon additional local revenue of $10,241,400. We are making corresponding reductions in other accounts throughout the budget, various accounts, utility savings, savings relating to vacancies throughout the organization, et cetera, et cetera. So we are fortunate that we do have within our budget the ability to make those reductions and maintain a balanced budget without having to go back to the council and request a supplemental appropriation, even though that would be logical based upon the additional local revenue that we're receiving. So we're not changing the total allocation as was approved by Metro Council. We are just increasing the transfer to our charter fund and then making the corresponding reductions in other expense accounts throughout the budget. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding amendment number 2 for the current fiscal year.
Any questions for Mr. Henson? All right. Oh, sorry. Ms. Elrod?
In 2 months, are we going to have to do this again?
No, we're anticipating those final 2 months, and what we're trying to do is to get the amendment approved this fiscal year. So whatever changes might occur, we will make those changes in the actual transfer payments that we make to our charters. Maybe a little off over or under, but it won't be to this extent. So we're anticipating the final 2 months with this request.
And then I know we've had some ongoing communications with the state of how much we're getting funded per student. Is this based upon the new number that we have that has been a surprising number to us, or is this the old number?
This is the current fiscal year, so it will be our current fiscal year state BEP funding as well as all of the local funding. The current year BEP state funding is very close to what was estimated. The big change would be in our local funding, particularly with the local option sales tax. And so the issue with the state funding is next year issue.
Right.
The current year, that really doesn't come into play.
Okay.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the amendment for the 21-22 operating budget, please.
I move.
Move approval. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the amendment for the fiscal year 2021-22 budget, raise your hand. All right, it passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to the next agenda item, which would be discussion and approval of the 2022-23 budget. Again, this is based upon the action that was taken by Metro Council on Tuesday evening of last week. You have this other second document that says fiscal year 2022-2023 operating budget. If you would turn the page to the summary page, I'll go over the changes that are reflected here from the last budget that was approved by the board, which was on May 24th. We have just a few changes from what the board approved on May 24th. The first change, if you look at the top portion where the compensation items are located, we have combined all of the support staff pay upgrade numbers into one number, a little over $26.2 million additional going to our support staff for pay upgrades. We also have taken off the increase that we previously had for textbooks. That will continue to be funded with federal ESSER money. And we've made a slight reduction to our charter school transfer, which reflects the slightly lower revenue that we are going to be receiving from what we originally had anticipated to make a balanced budget. All of the additional funding that was approved, particularly the additional $4 million that was approved by Metro Council, all of that is going to our support staff for pay upgrades. And so that's reflected here. One other piece I did want to mention so that it is out there in the front is that the $5 million that was approved by the Metro Council for support staff bonuses, that is not a part of our allocation. The way that that was approved by Metro Council is that $5 million is coming from the Metro General Government Fund balance and is being held in a contingency account by Metro Finance. Once we determine what that bonus would look like, and once that bonus is paid out to our support employees, then that funding would be allocated to us. And so it's not included in our bottom line number of $1,105,502,500. It is held externally, but for the benefit of our support staff. And so that's the way that it was approved by Metro Council, since it is a contingency account within Metro General Government as part of their fund balance. And so that is not reflected here. But those are the only changes from what the board approved back on May 24th, would be increasing the support pay upgrade by $4 million, decreasing the textbook that will be funded for next year with federal ESSER dollars, and then the slight decrease in our charter transfer number, so that everything balances to the total allocation that was approved by the Metro Council. That increase is just under $87.7 million, reflecting an 8.6% increase. The remainder of the documents are basically the same. The only change would be to any salary line item that would be affected by that additional $4 million for our support staff. Of course, that's been adjusted in all of the documents that you would have afterward. Happy to go through each of those again if you would like, if you have any particular questions. And then, of course, at the end, we have our document number 9, the 25-page line item document. Again, every salary line item that was impacted by the additional $4 million is now reflected in that detailed line item budget, that 25-page document number 9. So stop right there and see if there are any questions that anybody might have relating to the budget itself for next fiscal year.
Okay. Okay, and this for the budget, as we're on the fiscal year budget, one thing I just want to say before we get into questions is just a thanks to Chairwoman Berkeley Allen with working with us through this process. This was a different budget process with some unexpected developments that we had, and that Chair Berkeley and the mayor's office was really cooperative in working with us, given that we had a $22 million deficit, helping to find funds and working with us to close that deficit. And so we want to appreciate their cooperation and work, because it's something that we wish, obviously, in an ideal situation, we would have known a little bit earlier. And so we'd be able to fix on the front end, but they were able to work with us. And then also to Councilwoman Porterfield, who led the amendment for the $5 million contingency part for support staff. That amendment will be considered a separate time, just because it's a one-time bonus that has to be approved by Metro government, according to the amendment that was passed at the Metro Council last week. And we want to make sure we do that in a fiduciary, fair way. We don't want to rush into it. We spent the last time really making sure that the pay plan was correct and working with SEIU, the stakeholder, to make sure once we had a final number that we can come together and really, as we said before, have a full thorough discussion of what that looks like to bring our support staff up to a more livable wage. Obviously, it's not ideal, but it's closer to the mark, and that was our first priority, is employee compensation. And last year, we focused on the teachers. This year was support staff. And so thank you to the support staff and SEIU who advocated for themselves to the Metro Council to stress the support and the need for that, and then to the administrative team to working with them, particularly in the last week. So kudos to Dr. Battle, Melissa Roberge, the HR and the compensation department, that putting together a step scale is very complicated, and it's really hard to do in a very contracted time. And the fact that we had turnover to do this in a week, I just want to commend their effort, because usually it takes several weeks to do this, to do that. So I want to acknowledge that. And for the pay scale, as Mr. Henson said, that we took the total amount and were able to reschedule to include the 4%, to include the steps, and to able to put that into one large allocation, and then to redistribute that allocation into the support staff. And as we said, that we did work with the stakeholders, and they are on board and approve this pay scale. So just to be able to come to that discussion, I know that was concern of certain council members about bringing the stakeholders in. It was just a matter of getting the information. Sometimes the budget process is not as linear as we want it to be, or as prescriptive as we want it to be, but as we go through the budget process, it all comes up and comes into order at the end. And so I just want to acknowledge that, and just acknowledge where we are with that. So questions? Yeah, Ms. Masters.
Sorry. Just so when it comes to this additional $5 million that's coming from the fund balance, will that be a part of our maintenance of effort moving forward, or is that separate?
That would be separate, since it's coming from the fund balance of Metro government. It's not coming from MNPS fund balance, and so that would be separate.
Okay.
Ms. Tyler?
Uh-oh.
There she is. No?
Hold up, we're having technical difficulties. We can't hear you. One moment.
About now.
Yep,
Now we got
we
you.
can hear you.
I was saying that we want to make sure that we continue to thank the mayor for his continued investment in education, and also want to call out the council and let them know how appreciative we are for them to step in to help us with that $22 million that we were unexpectedly saddled with, and also to make sure that everybody understands that although we have restructured the pay scale a little bit, and the original thought was to move everybody up to a grade 8 opposed for some other, there was some changing around that. And I just want to kind of really emphasize that this new pay scale is that it ends up better than the previous one that we had. Everybody ends up coming out a little bit better in this one than what we had previously said when we had the mayor's plan. It's really just a game changer. If you look at grade 7 under this plan, if you're at a grade 7, then you're better than if you were at a grade 8 under the initial plan that was based on what the mayor had given us. So just to let you know, if we're looking at kind of where we are in the numbers and what grade level you're on, and know that we have since rechanged. And so some things that may sound like you're going lower, like if you go to a grade 7 instead of grade 8, you're actually going to end up making more because of the way the pay structure has been reconfigured. I don't know if that makes sense or not. But so because of that kind of a little bit of that confusion, one of my questions was, when can we expect to get out some sort of information, some tools to ensure that all of our support staff knows exactly what they'll be making under this new pay scale?
Dr. Battle?
Thank you. I'll allow Melissa Roberge to respond to that question.
So we will get the pay scales published as soon as they are approved. From there, we are going to try to build a calculator for our employees, but because of kind of the last minute nature, we don't have that ready to go today.
It will take some time. Again, we've had to rebuild just about everything that we were working from. So it will take some time, but we'll communicate out once we have a better target date that it will be released. But we can go ahead and get the pay scales posted once they're approved by this board.
Okay, great. That's really great to know, because I know that a lot of our support staff have kind of been sitting on the edge of their seat waiting to find out what's going to happen. So the sooner we can kind of let them know individually what they themselves will be making, I know that they'll be grateful to be able to kind of lock that in and know for sure. My next question is, we have been talking, and I've been talking individually to some council members, but then also to Dr. Battle as well, about if we have met the needs of our support staff, which we have, and SEIU is happy with this plan. Our support staff, from what I've heard, is very happy with this plan. I'm happy that all of our support staff's votes have been raised. Now that we've met that need, if we're looking at what we have left over in the budget, if there's any sort of wiggle room, one of our aspirational budget items had been a sustainability manager or a sustainability officer. And so I had just wanted to kind of ask about where are we in regards of where is that wiggle room? Do we have the ability to look to hire a sustainability officer or manager this coming school year?
In the current budget, I have not seen any wiggle room or any surplus that's available for new positions. I don't know if Dr. Battle or Mr. Henson can want to speak to that, or if there's any wiggle room or surplus. I know working through it, all new monies went to support staff employees, and then we weren't able to fund any other priorities that of the top 3 that we wanted to do with social emotional learning and integrated supplies. And Cassandra, with the new funding, was there any surplus or wiggle room for a new position?
Yes, Ms. Player, I think you described that appropriately, that all of the new investments went to the board's priority around compensation, every bit of it, to make sure that we could make the movement as this board has committed to and requested by some of our partners and our employees as well. And so when you look at the summary budget document, you'll see that every penny of that has been allocated accordingly between continuity of operations under our required additions and the compensation package that you have reviewed as well. With regards to Ms. Tyler's second part of her question with the aspirational budget items, including the sustainability manager and all the other aspirational items, we are not investing in those spaces with this current budget. But as expected, and expected given the approval of this board of your budget priorities, we'll continue to look at opportunities and ways to move some of those strategies forward. I think the sustainability manager is one that was included and approved by this board to continue to work towards. And so as Ms. Tyler and I have talked about, looking at grant opportunities and having committees work towards next steps. Same thing with all the other aspirational budget items. I know I've had conversations with many of you around some of the other areas we would like to accelerate as well. So we'll keep working towards those and hopefully readopt them if necessary for the next year's budget cycle to move them forward. I think we've heard quite a bit around the sustainability position. I know we heard from a group last week that none of us likely disagree with any of those efforts and the focus we want to have as a community and leveraging those strategies across all of our MNPS schools. We're really proud of the work that's already been implemented. I think we heard several success stories there, and so we'll keep digging as we move forward in ways to move that work forward accordingly in the district. But again, every penny that Metro Council and the mayor hasn't invested in as is represented in this summary document with the priority around compensation.
Okay. I guess my next question is, if there's not, I know that everybody has their things that they're looking to fulfill from that aspirational budget, and like you said, it does seem that everybody's on the same page as wanting to move forward with sustainability. I just wanted to take a minute to point out that, employee compensation has been our top priority. SEL is our second priority. And sustainability, when we have students that are working in nature, that are learning how to grow their own food, that are understanding the interplay between the connectedness of the way the world works around them, they've actually been proven to show that that lowers blood pressure. It helps our students regulate themselves better. So part of looking for a sustainability stewardship officer, a sustainability officer, I'm not sure what our official title will be at some point, is to go alongside of that SEL component. To me, it is not separate and away from that, but they are two things that run alongside one another. And I think that including sustainability efforts in our schools will increase our SEL and will make it stronger. So to me, those things go hand in hand, and I want us to keep that in mind as we continue to move forward. There's a lot of research that shows that, not just for adults, but also for students and for our own children. So I think that that is something we need to keep in mind and not think of it as something that is separate and different, but that it is actually runs right alongside and is part of our larger plan of how to best help our students understand how to regulate themselves and move forward in a healthy and safe space and a healthy and safe mind frame as well. So to me, that's important. And I also want to let you know I have been talking to and working with a team of people that have been part of MNPS working on sustainability for years. And it includes people who have been MNPS teachers, librarians, are currently MNPS teachers that are in our schools as nonprofit partners, Sierra Club, Urban Green Labs, a couple other just to think of them off the top of my head. The mayor's sustainability Sustainability Committee has several members that are working with us as well. We have people from Metro Waterworks. We've got people from just the general community who are just people who love the environment and understand its importance moving forward and have wanted to help partner with Metro schools to help us move towards that more sustainable future that Metro government has already committed to do and already has created their own sustainability committee to make sure that that's happening on the government side. So there's already a group that's been meeting to look at what are the concerns, what are the ways we could implement some of this in our schools. And it's already happening in pockets, and I've spoken about that in the past. We're already seeing that in various schools all over Metro, not just in one area, but in multiple districts. And where we see it happening, it's been a great success. And it's something that not only have the students, but the school and the partners for the school outside have rallied around. We've brought in, thousands of dollars of grant money to help with that on the outside. And all that's just been done on the backs of people who were really invested in it, but are not getting paid for it. Since that work has already been happening, I would love for us to make it more official and looking at having an opportunity to have a sustainability stewardship team that is created under Metro's umbrella. I know we don't have the money to pay for a sustainability officer, but I would love to volunteer to be somebody to lead an MNPS ad hoc committee that meets with these groups that have already been meeting, that are already working in our schools right now, but to make it more official so that we can hopefully spread that out as we move towards this new future of making sure our students their needs are being met, not just academically, but also helping them social and emotionally, and also with that sustainability piece. All of it works together as a web. So I guess my question is, since we do not have the money to hire a sustainability officer, in lieu of that, I would love for us to have a sustainability stewardship team. And that is something I'm happy to spearhead if that is the will of the board, if that is the will of Dr. Battle, if that is the will of our board chair, Ms. Buggs. So just wanted to throw that out there and get your thoughts.
I get to meet from Dr. Battle.
No, and just hearing what you've described, Ms. Tyler, I'm happy to take what you've described under advisement and connecting with my energy team so we can determine what's already in play, what are some other opportunities that are available to us, and then follow up with regards to next steps.
Okay. Thank you. I was trying to figure out how to put that in the budget context.
I know it's not a budget, but it directly relates to it because
Yes,
we don't
absolutely.
have money for this, and I want to make sure that we're not losing this opportunity, and I want to make sure that we're moving forward. Since everybody seems to be in agreement, and everybody claims to be in agreement that this is something we need, here's a way we can implement it for free, and let's not lose the momentum that we have.
Absolutely. And then just for public service announcement, this will be a great time for a public-private partnership. I will personally happy to have any money asked. And is there private sector groups that will be willing to fund this position? I'll be more than happy to have a conversation. I'm sure Ms. Tyler.
Yes.
To the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Yes.
So, so anyone out in the community, we will welcome any support around this position to help us do that as we continue to grow and expand. That this will be a great space for our private public partnership, all the P's, to come together and really help support our schools, particularly in a unique way. And I'm pretty sure Dr. Battle and her team will welcome that conversation to do that. So I'm putting that out there. I would love to make that ask. I will ask for that money personally. So I'm willing to receive it as budget chair in a legal way. So yes.
I just want to add too that in the process of choosing our next student board member, we had more than one applicant who expressed interest in the area of sustainability. So I think we could already have the makings of potentially some students to serve on that advisory committee as well.
Great. Any other questions? I'm sorry, any other questions?
I will say this. I will say we cannot thank our staff enough. So thank you, MNPS leadership, staff members, for your advocacy thank you, budget chair player. I know the mile of nonsense that you had to eat along the way, just making sure that we were advocating to all the council members, staying in communication with the mayor's office, making sure that we were working with our unions appropriately. And then we rallied quickly, but thank you for leading the way and for keeping that vision.
Thank you.
Your time with the unions certainly helped to be able to explain to some of us who hadn't worked directly with unions before, helping to understand, what the goals were, what percentages looked like, just all the numbers. So you thanked everyone else, but thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Thank you. So I entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, a second. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you.
We did it.
Thank you, Mr. Henson.
Thank you.
I'd just like to thank the team and Dr. Battle. As Chair Bugg says, this was an interesting process, to say the least. But it's an honor to be budget chair. Thank you to the mayor's office for being in communication and working with us. And I said thank you to Chair Allen, who's also was in communication and willing to work with us, and her willingness to have conversations and to, unfortunately, she had to bear the brunt of the deficit at an untimely manner. That was not of her own doing, and that was of the state, and to understand that our staff really works hard to really do projections the best they can with the information that they have. I know that sometimes there's assumptions that we have a magic ball, we have a crystal ball, and we know everything happens, but we know that government is fluid, information is fluid, information changes, and sometimes when we think we have all the information, there's a surprise that comes up, and we have to adjust accordingly. And Dr. Battle and her team were very able to do that, working a lot of late nights and even weekends to make sure this happens, and particularly in this environment. And to really thank the mayor for giving us over $100 million in new revenue off of his tenure. That's something that has not been done in past administrations. And for us to, able to trust us to be able to be good stewards of that new monies and existing money. And I know we will want more money, ideally, in a perfect world, and we always need more money, but that we have shown remarkable progress over the last 2 or 3 years as we change the way we do the project process, change how we collaborate with other departments, particularly Metro government, to be more a collaborative effort, and really try to work through our political priorities and our political needs and commitments, and as we advocate for one another. So I ask the community to continue to advocate for Metro schools. We have grown a lot. We will continue to grow. And we just hope that we have a steady and prayerfully stable economic future next year as we can continue to constantly build on this and get to the funding that we ultimately need and ultimately should be. But it is a process. I wish Metro government just had a magic wand and had money like the Powerball, and we can just generate money and we can do this, but unfortunately we can't. And sometimes government moves a little slowly than we want to, but then years like this, when we make great strides, we have to celebrate those strides. That the fact that Dr. Battle, and more importantly, the board has kept their promises, particularly with employee pay, the fact that we have the best paid teachers in the state, the fact that we're moving our support staff to a more livable wage, that is a great task that I know from my background literally took years and almost a decade to get to. And so I'd just like to thank everyone, Ms. Masters for her advocacy role as advocacy chair, for Chair Buggs, Ms. Elroy last year when she started that, really that communication and really bringing the council and the board together. This has been a group effort that we're seeing the fruits of that labor over the last 2 years. It wasn't instant, it was not overnight, but all the efforts we have done to really be good communicators and to be more transparent of what we need to really educate our children. And that's our priority, is to educate our children with the most resources we have, and the resources that we have, how to use them more effectively and leverage them more effectively. So just thank you for this time. Thank God this budget is over. I can enjoy the rest of my summer break. And and I'll live with Ms. Battle. Last
Thank
words.
you. Before we conclude again, a huge thank you to this board. Thank you for setting a vision and setting priorities for this budget cycle. Again, year 2 of a historic budget investment. Chair Players, thank you again for all of your advocacy and all the random and late night and weekend phone calls around our next steps. And, again, thank you to the Mayor, Metro Council for their investment in MNPS and to our entire MNPS team. We will continue to be great stewards of the investment and continue to move our district forward. So I'm looking forward to getting everyone updated around our pay scales and getting everything out and getting everyone up to speed. I'll just ask the team to be patient in their process. Last year was the first year we ever did, our HR team ever put together such a tool to help our employees see where they are. So again, huge kudos and credit to the team for pulling that together. And once again, we're going to try to pull that off to make sure all of our team members know where they are. But I'm looking forward to welcoming the team back in several weeks and making sure we do really, really good work on behalf of our district and our city. Before we break, I do want to remind everyone that we have updated our student art gallery here in the support hub. I welcome everyone back around 4:30 before the board meeting for refreshments and to walk through the gallery and just to be inspired by the talents and the creativity of our students. It definitely inspires me every day when I'm in this space of who I'm here to serve, who we're all here to serve, and why, because they are so very talented. So again, I welcome everyone back, and at the board meeting, we will, after we open, we'll kick off with a short State of Schools video update, just recapping where we've been and what we're able to accomplish together for the 21-22 school year. So that's all I have. Chair Players, if you want to close us out.
I know, I want to buy some of the artwork. So, yeah. So maybe that'd be the next point. We can auction off some of the student artwork. So that's all I have. So this meeting is now adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.